Here's more wrestling news for January 21st, 2023, and we're starting off with WWE. And for years, fans have speculated on a match between The Rock and Roman Reigns in about big enough only for WrestleMania. Last year, Reigns even called out The Rock during a WWE live event, and it was even said that The Rock's return was 100% in the plans, and he would be competing at WrestleMania 39. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, The Rock's status for WrestleMania 39 is not set in stone, and fans making the trip to LA may have to prepare to be disappointed. In the Observer, it is revealed that The Rock has spoke to WWE and does not believe he has enough time to get in ring shape for a match with his cousin. With the Royal Rumble taking place next week, WWE will need to confirm their plans for WrestleMania, and it's noted that unless something changes, the Great One isn't expected to compete. To be fair, Dave Meltzer did not rule out the possibility that something is being hidden from those backstage, so we can't rule out this being a work. Even if The Rock doesn't compete this year, the report adds that he remains open to doing something with WWE down the line, possibly next year. It was reiterated that the decision ultimately comes down to whether The Rock will get adequate time to prepare for in-ring action and get into the shape required to wrestle again. WWE would love to have The Rock back for WrestleMania 39, but that is the Great One's call, and if he doesn't feel he can put on the performance fans expect, then this dream match may indeed remain just a dream. The fact that The Rock may not compete at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania has come as a shock to some fans, especially given that it was just days earlier that WWE brought out new merchandise for the Brahma Bull. Many had seen the two new hoodies released by WWE as a sign of his return at next week's Rumble, but that isn't the reason. According to Dave Meltzer, these hoodies are more to do about Raw's 30th anniversary, as the Brahma Bull was a fixture of the Red brand for years. Whether this means that The Rock will be part of next Monday's Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony or not, who's to say? But right now, all plans for the Great One to compete at the Rumble or WrestleMania are far from confirmed. The Rock isn't expected to compete at next week's Royal Rumble event, but the show is infamous for surprise debuts and returns. The two Rumble matches have often seen surprise returns from injured superstars, and while that could happen this year, fans in the Alamo Dome won't be seeing Big E. The former WWE champion has been out of action since the March 11, 2022 SmackDown, when he suffered a broken neck due to a suplex from Ridge Holland, an accident that Big E does not hold any kind of grudge for. Speaking to These Urban Times, Big E spoke about his recovery process and ruled out the possibility of him wrestling next week. "I've got to get some more scans at the 1-year mark in March, and then we'll see how everything's looking. But we'll see from there. I was very fortunate, so I just want to make sure I'm making the best decision for myself, so we'll see in March." The fact that Big E needs more scans in March rules him out wrestling next week, despite how excited fans would be to see him. Right now, Big E's focus should be on getting healed up, and while we hope he will be back in the ring one day, right now we're just wishing the New Day star a speedy recovery. This week, the wrestling world lost Jay Briscoe, and he and Mark dominated the tag team division in many promotions, but they did not make it to WWE. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it is revealed that this nearly happened, and that WWE was very interested in the pair at a time, and in 2015 offered them a deal with the company. However, the figure offered was low enough that the Briscoes opted not to take it, as going full-time in WWE would have taken the brothers away from their family's chicken ranch. The Briscoes never came to WWE, but that didn't prevent tributes to Jay airing on both this week's NXT and last night's SmackDown, a sign of how many lives the late wrestler had touched. Over to AEW now, as Colt Cabana has been signed to the promotion for a couple of years now, but has recently taken a new role backstage. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Cabana has been working as a producer as of late, and he's bringing his decades of experience in wrestling to Tony Khan's company. More news from SmackDown now, as a shocking incident took place in the venue last night. In fact, this incident could have affected this week's show in a huge way. According to a report by the Detroit News, an ammonia leak, which can be deadly if high levels of the gas are released, was found in the basement of the Little Caesars Arena at around 3:15 p.m. local time. In response to the gas leak, the venue was immediately evacuated. Despite implementing strict safety protocols to prevent injury or illness, 2 men, believed to be in their 20s, were hospitalized with chemical burns after being in the vicinity of the leak. It is unknown what caused the gas leak incident at Little Caesars Arena, but the Detroit Fire Department, along with a hazmat specialist and medical personnel, were able to respond quickly and contain the situation. James Harris of the DFD stated that the venue took the appropriate action and that the problem will be resolved soon. The presence of WWE production workers at the time of the incident is also uncertain, as they were preparing for that night's show. The show did take place as planned, and that's all that matters. Since 2008, Kofi Kingston has wowed fans on WWE TV, but his positive personality isn't just for the cameras. Outside of the ring, Kingston has been running a fundraiser called the Click for Quality Education Foundation, a nonprofit that hopes to establish award-winning computer labs in junior high schools in Ghana. Kevin Owens has taken notice of Kofi's efforts, and on the fundraiser page, the prizefighter and his wife Karina donated $1,000. Owens has never shied away from a worthy cause, with the former Universal Champion donating to the Jay Briscoe fundraiser, which smashed 2 separate goals before closing at just over $200,000. At this time, Kofi's fundraiser has raised over $5,000 of its $30,000 goal, and this is an admirable task from one of WWE's most popular superstars. And we're ending today with Zelina Vega, who after tweeting her support for unionization in 2020 was released from WWE mere minutes later, but was rehired in the summer of 2021. Since then, Vega has had ups and downs, including a reign as WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, but has also missed time due to injury. Last year, Vega returned as part of Legado del Fantasma and has a big plan for the future, namely in Puerto Rico. It was after WWE Survivor Series War Games that Triple H spoke about the possibility of WWE hosting an event in Puerto Rico, something that piqued Vega's interest, as she told WWE DWOSH this week. If WWE really goes to Puerto Rico and that does become a thing, I hope that I get the opportunity to challenge for the title, because what better way than to be in Puerto Rico, where my family's from, and just be able to have that moment there. That would be the cherry on top of my perfect career. I will not complain about anything else ever. WWE's only premium live event held in Puerto Rico came back at New Year's Revolution in 2005, where Triple H won the vacant World Heavyweight Championship inside the third Elimination Chamber match. Whether WWE returns to Puerto Rico in 2023, that's impossible to say right now, but if so, then Vega is ready to represent her family and possibly become a singles champion.